Hi, welcome to Midwest Magic Cleaning. My name is Zippy the Wonder Slug, and today I wanted to talk about a topic that I've never talked about before, but I really should have because it's something that I personally struggle with, and I know a bunch of other people do too, and that is knowing your limits. You don't know that you're past your limits unless you're able to recognize your limits. And the way I recognize mine is if I'm physically exhausted or it's painful for me to do something, I know I'm at my physical end. I know I'm at my mental end if I start to get physically exhausted and it's hard for me to think. If the thought of a chore makes me anxious or angry or even frustrated, if I start to get irritable about the idea of cooking a meal, then I know I'm past my emotional and mental limits. Now, that doesn't mean that you just give up and you say, all right, I'm past my limits. I'm not making food for anybody. I'm not doing any chores. I'm just going to let my house go to hell, even though that is sometimes the solution if it's not affecting other people and you can't get other people to help you out. Sometimes that is the consequence of resting, is that you're just putting off those chores for another day. And you sure can't use that as an excuse to continually put off your house and your chores and your responsibilities until the sun goes nova. That's where we cross the line of knowing my limits versus I'm just going to use this as an excuse so I don't have to do anything. That's when you're getting into lazy territory. So this video is me recognizing my limits, making sure that I don't go past those limits, and giving myself chores and tasks that don't take a lot of physical, strenuous activity. The consequences of me not doing those chores aren't great. It just means they wouldn't get done for a few days. Another consequence of me not doing them is that if I'm just sitting there doing nothing, I'll drive myself crazy and build myself into an anxiety attack because I'm not doing what my brain wants me to do. The consequences of going overboard is that I continue to hurt my back and put myself out for so long that I just won't have another video for another 2 months because I'm not physically able to do it. And I refuse to do that. I just keep having to remind myself that you can't pour from an empty pitcher. That old adage of you can't shave a moose unless you yourself are bald. I'm not good with adages, but the moral of it's still the same. If you wear yourself out, you can't help other people. And people who go past their limitations often find themselves so burnt out are so exhausted that when they're desperately needed, they end up pushing themselves so far beyond their own limits that they eventually break down. My biggest advice is to kind of keep yourself aware at all times. And when you find yourself getting exhausted physically, emotionally, mentally, stop and kind of take a personal inventory of what have I been doing this week? What have I been doing for the past 2 or 3 weeks that led to me feeling this way?